Hi, everyone. Welcome to Shkrets. Today, we're talking about a viral moment that had the internet buzzing. Eve, the rapper, actress, and ultimate trendsetter, recently celebrated Christmas with her husband, Maximilian Cooper's family. A photo from their celebration sparked a whirlwind of reactions online, ranging from hilarious to wildly overanalyzed. My sister sent me the picture along with some of the funniest comments, and you know I had to jump in. What started as a simple family gathering turned into an online spectacle, and the commentary ranges from laugh out loud funny to surprisingly reflective. Let's talk about what this photo really means and why the reactions say more about us than they do about Eve. The picture that launched 1,000 comments. The image shows Eve seated at a long, beautifully decorated dinner table surrounded by Maximilian's family. She's poised, radiant, and clearly comfortable in her space. But as the internet loves to do, they zeroed in on one detail. Eve is the only Black person in the photo. That's it. That's what lit the spark for jokes, critiques, and unsolicited advice. While some people, myself included, saw this as a moment of love and celebration, others couldn't resist making it about everything else but what it actually is: a woman celebrating Christmas with her family. Here are some of the most viral and talked about reactions to this photo. Girl, if you don't get out of there. This one had me cracking up. It's giving dramatic concern, but we all know Eve is just fine. This gives me slave vibes. I had to say it, LOL. Okay, this comment went dark fast. It's a reminder of how optics can sometimes overshadow reality, but it also feels like a stretch in this case. And the chain around her neck makes it look worse. Now, this one had me side-eyeing the commenter. I mean, Eve is rocking an elegant, bold statement necklace, and somehow that's part of the issue? It's giving. I need to find something to complain about. She looks refined and regal, and the chain only enhances her look. Let's not overthink it, people. Is Eve in a sunken place? The moment I read this, I knew someone was going to go full get out mode. The sunken place commentary is honestly tired at this point. Eve isn't trapped, she's thriving. She's not sitting there under duress. She's there because she wants to be. Sometimes, the internet tries too hard to find a hidden story when the reality is much simpler. She looks totally different now and better than she ever did with Rough Riders. This is what femininity looks like. Okay, I can't even argue with this one. Eve has evolved. She's gone from a hardcore rapper to a woman who radiates sophistication and grace. This transformation is a testament to her growth and adaptability. Femininity can look like a lot of things, and for Eve, it looks like peace, happiness, and a polished demeanor. That's not Eve, that's Evelyn. This one had me laughing out loud. It's true that Eve's whole vibe is different now, so much so that people are joking she's practically a new person. And honestly, isn't that the goal? To grow, evolve, and elevate to a point where your past self feels like a distant memory? Yikes, this looks like a horror movie. I love Eve so much. Blink twice, sis, and we're coming. This had me both laughing and rolling my eyes. The dramatics are next level, but let's be real. There's no need for a rescue mission here. Eve looks content and she doesn't need saving. She's built a life that works for her, and that's something to celebrate. This doesn't look right for some reason. This is a very different look for Eve. She should not be at the end of the table. She should be next to her husband. I can see where this commenter is coming from, but let's not act like seating arrangements are a reflection of love or respect. Eve is at that table because she's a valued member of the family. Her position doesn't diminish her place in her marriage. It just means she's flexible enough to let someone else take the head seat for the night. Would anyone have anything to say if the husband was spending Christmas with her black family? Exactly. This comment calls out the double standard perfectly. No one would bat an eye if Maximilian was the only white person at a black family gathering, so why is it an issue here? Love doesn't need to fit into a cultural narrative. It just needs to feel right for the people involved. My perspective, love wins. Why is it that when a black woman is glowing and thriving, the world suddenly questions her happiness? Eve is a true Scorpio. She knew when to hold it and fold it and built a life for herself overseas. If you ask me, her resilience and evolution are unmatched. She's left behind the chaos and found peace. Who wouldn't applaud that? Eve is living proof that love transcends cultural boundaries. She's navigated her way through a tough upbringing, personal challenges, and a thriving career to find happiness with someone who cherishes her. This isn't about leaving one culture behind for another. It's about building a life that feels right for you. Why do we question a black woman's happiness when it's clear they've worked hard to create it? Eve is 10 years into her marriage, raising her son and glowing in her element. The only concern here should be how she manages to look so effortlessly stunning at Christmas dinner. The bigger picture. The reactions to this photo aren't just about Eve, they're about us. They reveal how we, as a society, project our insecurities and assumptions onto people who are simply living their lives. Some people looked at that photo and saw a love story. Others saw isolation or discomfort. But the reality is, we don't know what's in Eve's heart. We only know what she's chosen to share with us. And what she's sharing is a picture of joy, family, and the kind of peace that only comes when you've truly found your place. But let's take it a step further, because Eve's story isn't just one of love. It's one of evolution. And that's where I think a lot of black women can take notes. Like Eve, you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances. You can clean up, make a few adjustments, and get exactly what you want from life. It may require ditching some of those toxic friends who aren't supportive, or that family member who constantly mooches off you, but if that's what it takes to get the life you deserve, peace, love, happiness, why not? Sometimes the greatest sacrifices lead to the greatest rewards. Eve didn't let her past define her. She chose to evolve, and now she's living proof that you can rise above your circumstances. It's empowering to see black women winning in love, and I'm not just talking about any kind of love. I'm talking about being loved by someone who sees you, who cherishes you, and who lifts you up. And yes, I think it's just as important when that love comes from non-black men, because let's face it, there's a lack of positive examples out there for younger black women to aspire to. We live in a world where they're often told they aren't worthy of love or are labeled as undesirable. Seeing someone like Eve thrive, not just in her career but in her personal life, reminds younger women that they are more than worthy of being loved and adored, no matter what negative stereotypes are being pushed. But here's the real talk that needs to happen. Desiring attention or affection from certain types of men might require going against the grain a bit, particularly when it comes to norms in the black community. It's not about changing who you are, it's about evolving. It's about presenting yourself in a way that shows you're worth being invested in. Like Eve, this might mean dressing more modestly, staying fit, and polishing your manners. Eve has always been unapologetic about her roots, but if you look at her now, she's evolved into a woman who is demure, refined, and mindful. It's a shift that may take time, but it's worth it if it brings you closer to the life you've dreamed of, a lesson in evolution. If there's one thing we can learn from Eve, it's that evolution doesn't mean abandoning who you are. It means embracing growth and choosing peace. You can still be true to your roots and rise above the noise just like Eve did. She's a different person from her rapping days, no question about it. But that's the beauty of life. You can shed the layers that no longer serve you and become who you're meant to be. For Eve, that means being a loving wife, a proud mother, and a woman who's been through the fire and came out stronger. Your thoughts? So, what do you think about Eve's Christmas celebration? Are the internet's reactions valid, or is this much ado about nothing? Are you inspired by Eve's evolution, or do you see it differently? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the bigger message here about Black women, evolution, and love. Thanks for tuning into Shkrets. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay true to yourself, keep evolving, and keep doing what makes you happy. Bye.